Herm, it's Michael and Don. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, my friend.
First off, we start with something kind of wacky. Antonio Brown Facebooking live and catching Mike Tomlin calling the Patriots a less than flattering name. I mean, would your head explode if you were the coach?
Well, if your head exposed, but I think there's a code of conduct in every locker room, and it starts when you actually become an athlete. There's a reason the doors are closed once the game is done. And I think that every player has to realize that there's a respect that the coach is given at least the first 5 minutes after a game, so he can address the team and get them going on the right mental road that they need to go on for next week. And I think that code was violated. And I think intentionally, it probably wasn't intentionally done, but this is where sometimes you get lost in your own deal when the game's over with. And this is why I was a big believer in that when the game was done, that the assistant coaches, I made sure they found those guys in the locker room, because locker rooms vary depending where you're at, and get the guys gathered up so I could give them the message for 5 minutes. And that didn't take place. And I just think that that's part of the protocol. Huddle up. Let's get together, because you wanted to feel your players when the game was done. And you wanted to give them some words of, this is where we're headed, man. And there's certain things in that locker room need to stay in there, and that's just part of it, and that's not the case there in Pittsburgh in this situation. I don't think they'll have to worry about this any longer. I think Mike will handle it in his way, and they'll move on.
Well, how do you handle it, though, Herm? You can't discipline them by not playing because it's too big of a game. Fines don't seem to really affect these players. As you said, this is something that should not have to be explained to a veteran player, so how do you handle it?
Well, a long time ago, you didn't have to worry about that stuff, because guys didn't have phones. It's kind of ironic the thing comes up, because I can remember playing for Dick DeMille, and we had a phone in our locker room. I mean, we don't have cell phones. There's a phone. You always carry a quarter in your pocket. And, the phone was always used during the course of the day. Guys in and out. And I can remember walking in there after a game, the first time we ever played in the vet, and the phone being off the hook. And I was walking by the phone, and I put it back on there, and the veteran came behind me, took it back off, take this thing off. And I said, why are we taking the phone off the hook? He said, Coach is about to address the team. And I said, He said, we'll put it back on when the coach is done. And I said, that's interesting. So I kind of learned it there. Now it's a little bit different now. These guys are at halftime looking at the phone. That's just the way it goes. I mean, that's the world that these coaches have to coach in. But I think that there's a respect factor. And every coach would hope his players understand that. And you would hope that the players would give the coach that respect for 5 minutes to be, worthy enough to say, hey, come on, get in the circle, whether win, lose, or draw, and let the coach discuss where we're about to go.
It's amazing, Herm. You, not too long ago, were an NFL head coach. And then I read the other day that John Gruden said that he would not even entertain becoming a coach because the rules are not the way he would coach. And now you got to deal with social media and more ego with players. I mean, does it seem like an impossible task?
Well, it's very difficult if you let the outside forces get involved in coaching your team. And I think that's another thing that coaches realize in today's world, even in college. I mean, think about college. Think about college head coaches now recruiting 17-year-old kids, and they're tweeting them. Are you kidding me? Really? I mean, come on. You tweet these kids? I mean, they had a good game, but are you kidding me? Really? But that's the world we live in, and it's a shame. But if you're going to be competitive, you got to understand these are the types. And that doesn't make these kids bad kids. It's just this is the new generation of athletes, and you got to understand that. But I still think there's some basic principles that have to come along with the discipline of the football team. Because I always said this: the discipline of the team is the responsibility of the head coach, and how you orchestrate that is up to you. And you have to be demanding, and there's certain things you're not going to allow. And I just think when those guys step on that line, you got to make sure you call them out in a way that the rest of the guys understand. Say, hey, wait a minute, we put the coach in a bad spot, man. We can't do that.
Coach, throw out the history. Throw out everything but just the right now. Who gives you a better chance to win a football game, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, boy. Captain America and then number 12, huh? I think they're both terrific. I think Aaron Rodgers gives you the ability to create things that you can't coach. Look, guys, I've been around football a long time. I don't care what these offensive coaches say, and they're all really smart. They got these high IQs. They got all these great plays. No offensive coach has a play for 3rd and 20. You don't practice that, by the way. You just don't. And his ability to extend the play, to make the off-schedule play, is unbelievable. Just in the postseason alone, he's 14 out of 17, 82%. Against Dallas, he was 7-9, 137 yards and a touchdown. So as far as that goes, in arm talent, and Brady will tell you this guy has tremendous arm talent. I mean, throwing from different platforms, and he's accurate. His accuracy is just unbelievable to watch. I mean, you just look at it and you go, how did he make that throw? And that's what he does. He just makes throws. And so I would say right now, what I've seen the last 8 weeks, you got to go with Aaron Rodgers. Guys, they know. 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's pretty good. And remember this. This is what I love about him, and Tom Brady as well. The great ones, think about the cast around them. Aaron Rodgers is not playing with first-round draft picks for a wide receiver.
Right.
He's playing with a running back that was a wide receiver. Are you kidding me?
Now, they beat the Cowboys yesterday, Herm. I love the way Dak Shepard played. I thought that Dak Prescott, I'm sorry.
Prescott, yes. He's marvelous.
To me, I think of all the teams, the Cowboys might have the brightest future. Their running back's outstanding. Their quarterback's outstanding. They've got a great offensive line.
Yes. Oh, no doubt. Look. People don't give him this credit. Besides what he did yesterday, the whole season, this is a rookie quarterback. He gets in the starting lineup because Tony Romo goes down. Every week, all this young guy's hearing, Tony Romo's getting well. By week 8, Tony Romo will be back. He had to live with that and still win games. Can you imagine how hard that is? Every day you pick up the newspaper, you go in the locker room, and somebody's interviewing, Tony's ringing that, and you're throwing the ball in practice. Now, what do you think about your job? Are you kidding me? This guy has been fabulous. He's unbelievable. This is their future. These two young guys are the future. You mentioned the offensive line. What they've got to do, they've got to fix their defense. They got exposed yesterday by an elite quarterback. They got exposed. They got out of their element. Because they couldn't rush him good enough. They couldn't get him on the ground. Their cover guys are par at best. They got exposed. And so I think going forward, they got to fix that. They got to fix the defensive side of it. But the offensive side of it, boy, they're really, really good.
Yeah, I don't think if Romo starts that game, they win, do you?
No. He might not finish the game. We don't know if Romo's going to finish the whole game.
Yeah, because we're seeing comments from people on Twitter. The happiest Cowboy right now is Romo. I don't think so.
No, Romo's not that kind of guy. And I know Tony. He was excited. I was with him before the season started at an event, and he was excited about his team. He knew he had a good team. He knew he had a good offense. He had a great offensive line. He had a young runner. Dez was well again. Jason Witten, the veteran tight end. Beasley out of the slot. He was excited about playing, and he gets hurt. And he's been a good soldier. He was a great soldier through all this as well.
All right, now it's early. It's only on a Monday, but let's have you break down the game. So who do you like in the Patriots and the Steelers?
Well, I think, it's very difficult to beat New England up there. They're 5-1. We know that in playoff games of this magnitude home. And this is the numbers that come to me when you think about it. Tom Brady's up 23-9 in playoff competition, 58 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. Ben is, I believe, 13-6, 24 touchdowns, 24 turnovers. That's the game to me. Will Ben turn the ball over?
Right.
Well, history says he's going to turn it over. And if you do that, then you got a problem. You just can't give Captain America extra possessions. And I think they will make them one-handed. This is what they do. They won't allow the runner to run. They won't allow the runner to run. They're going to make Ben beat them. Am I saying that sounds crazy? No, it doesn't sound crazy. They're not going to give him the ability to control the game with the runner. They're going to make him throw it, saying, you know what, we might get a couple balls from him. So it'll be interesting.
You think that there's any defense that can really stop Le'Veon Bell cold?
Oh, I don't think you can stop him cold, but I do think this. You got to get him in some bad third downs. You know, where they got to really make Ben hold and make him try to extend it and, maybe force something into a coverage. Because Ben, Ben's another guy. He moves around. He's going to try to make a big play. We know about Antonio Brown. You got to always worry about where he lines up. I get all that. But you got a quarterback on the other side of it where this offense didn't play good. Now, give Houston some credit, too. I mean, they don't have those cover guys. Okay, the Pittsburgh Steelers doesn't have the secondary that Houston has. They're young, they're exciting, but Kansas City just couldn't score any points yesterday. I mean, their defense played pretty good. I mean, Pittsburgh couldn't score. I mean, they got down there, they had was a bunch of yards, almost 400 yards of offense, and they couldn't score. They just couldn't cash it in. So it'll be interesting to see how they play against New England. What
about Falcons-Packers?
No, this is one. You better not leave television. If you're at home by yourself, you better have you get room. You order out to get food because if you move, somebody might score. This could get into the 60s. Combination of both teams. I think at the end, and I shouldn't do this, and he's going to kill me when I see him. I'm going against my convictions. You don't never bet against Aaron Rodgers. I like Atlanta.
Wow.
There's no answer for their backs. Look, I liked Atlanta. I knew Atlanta was going to be a really good offense when I saw what they did to Denver early. Denver's best defense in captivity now, early in the season, what they had done last year. And those backs, Coleman and Freeman, they're the key. It's not Jones, and it's not Sanu, it's not Gabriel, and all those guys. They're great players. It's Coleman and Freeman. You can't contain them. They're two-dimensional for you. Look, in that game, against, obviously, a pretty good football team in Seahawks, good defense. They had 422 total yards. The backs had 204 yards. No one could cover the backs.
Right.
You can't cover them. I watch it every week. I said, no one's going to cover these backs. Kyle Shanahan has done a magnificent job of really getting the backs involved in this offense, and that is the problem. Can't cover them.
Should be a great weekend. We can't wait. We can't wait.
It's good football, man. This is like, oh boy, you want to hurry it up. It's like, come on, let's play.
That's right.
You're right.
That's right.
Marquee quarterbacks. I'm glad for Matt Ryan. That was a big game for him, guys. His legacy was hooked into that one now. He needed to win that game home. He had a better football team, and if he wants to become one of those guys that gets talked about, he's got to get this team to a Super Bowl. Their defense is good enough. They got Beasley. He's an edge bender. He can bend the edge and get to the quarterback. Their defense is coming. It's not great, but they're learning how to play with a lead, and I think that's the key for those guys. So I just think it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, it's, somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose, but four really good teams.
Herm, good stuff. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.